Hello again, my name is Betsy and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you already watched my videos in the past. So today I am going to be working on a pattern that I have shown you before, and this is a design or pattern or however you want to think about it. This is a design that I tend to think of as ribbons. For some reason that's just how I see it in my mind. And when I draw this, I tend to draw it in ink, so that's what I'll show you today, is I'll be using a pen to draw this. But I'm also going to be showing you today how to shade it in. Some people have asked, how do I shade in this design? It can be a little tricky if you have a hard time kind of imagining where the shadows need to be. So this might be good practice for you. So you're going to want to really try to envision where those shadows are going to land. But first, let me start you off here in this corner, and what I want to pick, since I'm going to start in the corner, I want to pick one spot. This is going to be my vanishing point right here. So I just draw a dot, and then I'm going to take my pencil and just draw a little wave. I want it to kind of bend just a couple of times. So this is going to be our very first practice right here. So I just drew that in, and I'll show you how I do this when I just go straight in with the pen without drawing any of the little sort of vertical lines to support this. So starting from that vanishing point, so that dot, I go upwards and meet the curve and follow it to the right. And right before it bends, I stop. So you see, there it is. And then I start from the vanishing point again, heading upwards, and then follow the line to the left and then stop right before it turns. I'll show you this line right here. So there's going to be a line that goes vertically as well from the vanishing point, heading up to the edge of this curve. So I drew it in with a pencil, and now I just removed the rest here. And so you'll see that again, with the pen, I head up and to the right and stop before it bends again. And so now I'm going to do the last one here. So up from the vanishing point, heading upwards, follow the curve, and this one ends right there. So that's it. That's the end of that. I just follow the line heading downwards. I'm going to just erase my pencil marks here. I don't need these anymore. And I do have a different tutorial for this if you haven't seen that one. I have it under my playlist for patterns. And so when I do the shading here, I'm going to show you the very first one just takes a tiny bit. I'm just using a regular pencil. This is a Ticonderoga number 2 pencil. And now I'm just using a blender to soften it up. So you'll notice I'm just going from the peak of the very bottom. And that's where I think that it's the darkest. If, let's say, we were shining a light on this, if this was some kind of coral or something in the ocean, the shadows are coming from the bottom. And so you can also do this with a pen, of course. So what you would be doing is just creating lines heading upwards from the bottom. But today I'm showing you with a pencil. I don't show as much the pencil shading anymore these days, but I wanted to make sure that I showed that. So here you see, it's all at its darkest at the bottom. I'm going to lighten this one just because it's at the very front, and I don't want it to kind of compete for attention with that spot that's right next to it. So right here, I'm going to make it darker. And I'm pretty happy with that one. So it's really just there at the lowest most places. So let's start another one. Here's a little curve. I'm kind of just going to have fun with it, maybe like that. Let's see how this goes. I think I'm going to fix this one. I don't like that end. Sometimes if it gets too complicated, it won't look okay, or it might just get too weird. So here I'm going to just start creating some pencil lines that head down. It doesn't have to be perfect, but generally they head down to that vanishing point. So you'll see I'm just kind of following it. So notice how I'm using all the edges here. And so right here, this is actually why I kind of edited that the end of that line there. It just felt like it was going to be too complicated. So we're going to do this again. We're going to start with the leftmost edge. So this is the edge. Up to the left. And then I'm going to find the next one, which is this one right here. This one. Up and to the right. This is just going to keep happening over and over. So here's the next one right here. I'm going to head up to the left. And then right here, again, up, but instead to the right. I'm just going to follow it until it bends again. So right there. And now I can do the next one. up to the left. Now we have one more left and that's it. So this one here, we're going to go up and to the right, and because it ends here, we're just going to follow it down and close it off. So there we go. There's our second one. So I'm just going to get rid of these lines. I don't need them anymore. So I'm just going to kind of get them out of the way with my big eraser. So that's pretty good. And so don't be afraid to just kind of come in here with the pencil. Just give it a go. This is just a regular pencil. It doesn't have any, and doesn't have to be any pencil in particular, just whichever your favorite one is. The lightest, the darkest, whichever. The point is to just practice that shading kind of at the bottom and get a little practice using your blending stumps. If you don't have blending stumps, you can use your finger. You can also use some folded up napkins or tissue papers. There's all sorts of things you can use to try to blend this in. And even sometimes I don't use a blender at all. I just practice making those lines with the pencil. So you see my pencil's pretty sharp. So I just make sure that it's dark at the bottom. And that heading up, it just kind of gets a little bit lighter. And I try to do it as softly as I can. It's not always so pretty, but you know what? We're just practicing. So notice my lines heading outwards. So this is what it would look like if you were using a pen right now. Like that. So you'd start at that lowest edge of that particular ribbon that you're on. And then once you've darkened that edge, then you make lines heading upward. So here I'm just going to try to blend it a little bit. It's probably going to be a bit messy. I'm not being super delicate with this. I'm kind of just, there we go. That's pretty good. So I just want to show you, you don't have to be super, what would the word be, like fastidious about where you put your lines. You can if you want to, of course. Don't let me tell you what to do. For sure, whatever your style is, if you just want it nice and perfect, go for it. I'm not saying that you have to be. I would rather you just enjoy what you're doing here. Enjoy the process, enjoy shading. And if it becomes a little overwhelming for you, then maybe it's time to start changing up some of your methods and try to stress out a little less. So here you see, I mean, just so, I'm a bit feral when I when I make my art. And I don't really care if it looks pristine. I don't care if it's approved of by anyone. So I just kind of throw down whatever I feel like throwing down. Pencil, ink, whatever. So here it is. See, it looks fine. It looks fine. I wasn't super careful. I just kind of put it in there, and you can do this too. And if you really want to master this kind of design, try to practice some shading. And I'm pretty sure this is going to help you with so many other designs as well. Whatever else you decide to tackle, I'm sure it's going to help you. So here I'm going to start another one. So let's do another one. Here we go. So there I did my little wave back and forth. I imagine that this is like a mountain road, and it just goes left and right and left and right. That's what this is. And so here you see I'm creating those vertical lines, and they're all heading down to the same vanishing point. This is an art thing. Vanishing points are important. It really makes everything look like it's real, like it's appropriate, like it's exactly where it belongs. You want to have your vanishing points. And so here, right here, this is the beginning of this one, because that is the most, how should I say, the edge that is closest to me. That's where this whole ribbon thing starts. So I started there. Notice I went up and to the left now. I'm going to go up and to the right. And I stopped right there. Now up and right here. I'm going to go to the left. And the next one, guess what? We're going to go up and to the right. And you got it. The last one, what are we going to do? We're going to go up and to the left, of course, because that's how this whole thing goes every time. And then we just close it off. So every single one of these ribbons, as I call them, it's just one little piece at a time. If you're having a hard time, just be patient with yourself. It could be just this time, but I guarantee you your brain, your mind, your brain cells will thank you. Every time you try something new, every time you challenge yourself and push yourself to do something, this is it. This is you improving yourself. Just one little practice at a time. And it could be art, but it could be something else, whatever it is right now that's difficult for you. Just a little practice, just a little more. Each time you're going to get just a little better. And so that's why I'm doing this, is so that you can see it one more time. You can see how I do it, at least. There may be a time where you figure out your own way you want to do it, and wouldn't that be wonderful? When you create your own method, when you just kind of figure something out, that's the most amazing thing that you can do when you're making art, when you're being creative. So right here, I'm just adding some more of that pencil. If you're wondering why my pencil is so sharp, so very, very sharp, I find that it gives me more control. A lot of artists do this. You don't have to do this, but I find that it is pretty helpful. I do enjoy it. It really gives me control over where I put that graphite and really just how I set it on the paper. So you can see here, I'm just kind of spreading it around. And it is a bit messy still. If I want to clean it up, that is why we have all been gifted with erasers, and so I'm going to use mine a little bit. I will give you the links to these. This pencil in particular is one that I put together, but the pieces that I used for this, you can get. You will be able to get them separately though. So the pencil is just a simple Ticonderoga No. 2 pencil. These are actually like for kids, but I find that they're just so good for drawing. And they're very, very inexpensive. They're my favorite pencils. And the eraser that I am using is a pencil eraser. And I can't quite remember the brand of it right now. I'll see if I'll look around my desk real quick. I don't think I have one, but I will make sure that that it is linked in the description so that you can take a look at it. They're also not too expensive, but I find that they're very handy when I'm working here. It's really nice to have an eraser that is in pencil form. If you don't already have an eraser that's nice and tiny, this one's really good and I enjoy it very much. But yeah, just keep in mind that the setup that I have where it's a pencil and then that pencil eraser on the back, that I made that. So I can't really give you a link for getting one of those. It was a strange little DIY thing that I like to do. So there you see, I did more blending. I did the pencil work. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it gets the point across. So just as I've been showing you, you want to have it dark at those lower spots and then just let it lighten up towards the top. So here I'm going to very quickly, so if you do not like time lapse, you might not like this part. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly right now. So for now, you might just want to watch and just observe the way that I lay down the graphite. So I'm just going to be adding a couple more of these. And I know that not everybody likes time-lapse, but I did already show quickly how the process is, and sometimes it is nice just to be able to see how it comes together. If you had just that special perspective and you could really see things happen, this is how it happens. When it goes by quickly. So you see it's pretty interesting. It's just the same over and over. Start dark at the bottom every single time, and then let that shading kind of work its way up really slowly. Use your eraser if you need to. And this does require quite a bit of patience. This isn't the easiest thing to shade in. It really isn't. When I first started doing these kind of doodles or these kind of drawings, it did take me a bit of time. I admit, it can take some time. But each time you practice, each time you do it, you're going to get so much better. I know I have. And sometimes I'm not really in the mood to do this, but you know what? I like practicing. And so I grab my pen, I grab my pencil, and I do this one more time. Each time it just gets better and better and better. So here I'm adding some pencil, getting my practice in. Just one little piece at a time. And certainly there are things that you could study if you want to be just really, really good about perspective and other things. But for now, this is a nice little practice. You can just start drawing some kind of wavy forms like this. And this will help you practice that vanishing point. So this is 1-point perspective, if you were wondering what this is. If you want to look up more practices from other teachers or other instructors, that's what this is. This is 1-point perspective. So here we go, adding a few more. Filling it in really nicely. It's just so satisfying. So I hope that after seeing this, and if you were interested in drawing this kind of design, that you just give it a go. Try it one more time. See how it builds up really quickly? Of course, super quickly, because this part is in time-lapse, but no worries. I believed that when I was sitting down and doing this part, it still didn't take very long, maybe just another 15-20 minutes. And of course I want to use that time drawing. It's my personal time, it's my alone time. The more, the better. So if it's an hour, oh, that's even better for me. I think that's why I've just really learned to appreciate doing this, because it takes a long time, but it's exactly what I need. It's exactly what I need psychologically, mentally. So here you see I'm kind of just going through adding all that pencil. If you notice you get too much of that graphite up on that top edge of each form, then just bring it back with your eraser a little bit. You'll notice I do that a lot here. Just use my eraser, bring it back, tone it down, and it's perfect. So here we go. This is the end result. This is what we've got. So we shaded just with the pencil. So try practicing with your pencil if you're a little unsure with the pen. And then in a future video, not by itself, but I'll probably incorporate it with another drawing. I will show you how I do this if it's only a pen. But for now, try practicing with your pencil. You might find that you enjoy it. So this is it for today. This is all for me. I am so glad that you joined me today. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for spending your precious time with me. I do know that everybody is so busy these days, so it's really nice to just take a moment and just take a break. So I'm glad that you spent it with me. So thank you so much. I hope you have an excellent day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Have a good day.